I watched that thing like 20 times after I finished editing it. Happy Lunar New Year. Well, I know you're probably thinking, it was like 15 days ago, what are you doing? Yes, okay, I'm late to everything, I get it. But here's the thing, the celebrations following Lunar New Year are actually supposed to last 15 days. And the day this video comes out, March 3rd, is the actual last day of those celebrations, which is also known as Yuan Xiaojie, or the Lantern Festival. And that is the official end of Lunar New Year. So technically, I'm not late. Heh. You know, not to sound dramatic or anything, but this time when I was checking the next cycle, I can't tell you how excited I was with the combination. 2026, the year of the Flaming Horse. Yeah, that's right. This year we've got the Blazing Bronco. So that's a lot of words that you're seeing on screen right now. But really they all point towards one thing. Major accomplishment. Or as I like to call it, victory. And not just a strenuous, measured, or temporary victory. It has to be absolute. A victory that speaks for itself and therefore cannot be underemphasized. A victory of unrivaled proportion. A victory that is definitive. However, I believe that the march towards victory, the journey, will also be blessed with tremendous good luck. It will accelerate unrestrained, so that even if goals aren't reached before the year's end, I shall still have the unbending hope that by then, we will all proclaim that 2026 was the year of achievement and progress. Progress for each and every one of us, in our dreams, pursuits, objectives, talents, projects, and even in our hobbies. Perhaps most of all, progress for our species and planet as a whole. That is what awaits us in the Big 26, year of the FireHorse. Okay, let's be honest, probably none of that is going to happen. Fine, I admit it. I just spewed a load of pretentious sounding bullcrap. Wishful thinking at best, unadulterated chicanery at worst. But does that matter, is what I'm asking. Arguably, all optimism is ultimately just delusion, but that doesn't mean we should just abandon optimism. That's really why I want to talk about this, so let's get serious. Because regardless of what the long-term consequences end up being, I don't want this year to just fly by like all the others. So what is it? What's up with 2026? Well, if you've gotten here and aren't that familiar with East Asian astrology, you're probably a bit confused. Let me explain. So, most everyone's familiar with the Zodiac animals, but most people don't know that each year, the animal also comes with an element. That element is always one of these 5. It cycles, just like the animals, except the elements stay for a second year. So next year, 2027, will be the fire goat, or sheep. Then it continues, and so on and so forth. This system is called the sexagenary cycle. It has been used for thousands of years across East Asia to count and name years, but also months, days, and even hours. Although that system is way too complicated though. The point is, you only get to the same combination of element and animal every 60 years, which is a long time. Oh, and there's also yin and yang. Basically, the element stays for 2 years because there's a yang and a yin version of it. Those don't cycle between the animals though, so the horse is always yang. And then in 2027, it will be the goat, which is always yin. So it'll still be fire, just a reflective, calculated, and grounded fire, as opposed to the horse, which again is prospective, unrestrained, and soaring. That's what the FireHorse is meant to foretell in 2026. Now, historically, the sentiment regarding this combination is actually one of animosity. Apparently, ambition and independence means rebellion and unruliness, which for society 60 years ago is not really a good thing. That's why you see these bizarre phenomenon like the birth rate of Japan dropping in 1966, the previous year of the FireHorse, because people didn't want kids, specifically female kids, who would grow up to be obstinate and bring bad luck to their husbands. Luckily for us, however, society isn't meant to be like that anymore, at least not in name. So let me just emphasize that whoever you might be, we will all share in the spoils of 2026. One more thing. These elements and animals are given a symbolic name too, beyond the actual word that holds the definition. So you'll see 火马, which means fire horse in Chinese, but you'll also see this. Now, if you're the type of person who's familiar with the kind of content that I make, which is probably most people watching this because I have a very small audience. Hi. You probably know about the following historical events, like the 1911 Xinhai Revolution that ended the Qing dynasty, or the 1592 Imjin War. Even some contemporary history, such as the 1968 Tet Offensive in the Vietnam War, all get their names from the sexagenary cycle in their respective languages. But anyways, starting to get off topic. So, I think it's universally agreeable and inoffensive to say that given the past few years, humanity's projected future ain't looking too great. Don't get mad, I'm not trying to imply anything controversial, okay? The point is, we can all do better. Now, I take this angle because it's really the only one worth taking, because I can't speak for any individual cases here. Maybe things are looking very good for some of y'all, and that's great, because you can still take advantage of the FireHorse if that's the case. But this way of approaching it is really for those who might be in the weeds right now, or in a tough spot. And of course, as I mentioned, humanity as a collective, or humanity as a conglomerate. So, I wanted to contribute, in a very, very small way, to a potential turning point for these trends, even if it has to be a superstition rooted in astrology. The horse represents indomitable ambition, dashing forward as an unmatched icon of passion and courage. Fire is its catalyst, not only amplifying the existing traits, but guiding it in the right direction, towards transformation. So this year, let it be that the flames of hatred upon peoples, the flames of war upon nation, the flames of hostility upon scientific expertise, the flames of oppression upon the vulnerable, the flames of greed upon capitalism, and the flames of irresponsibility upon our biosphere, all serve not as a grim reminder for their irreversible and destructive nature, but as a reinvigorating catalyst for our own restorative duty that will prove to be miraculous. Even though the odds are completely unfeasible and the trends are devastating, we shall never yield. It is only down that path, with that mentality, where one day we will find ourselves not just extinguishing the flames of catastrophe upon us, but rekindling the flames of happiness upon humanity, to be more abundant, more encompassing, and more precious. Thank you for watching.